Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Funmi. How are you guys doing today? Thank you for joining me on this video. So I created a soft cut crease for you and I hope you enjoy watching it. Please don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. So I started with spraying down my face with setting spray. Primer here is the e.l.f. Putty Primer. Obviously I applied a bit too much but it does dry clear, so don't you worry. I went ahead to moisturize my lips, get ready for the lipstick application for later on, and now I'm curling my lashes. I find that when I curl my lashes before I do my makeup, it's easier than trying to avoid, you know, eyeshadow and all of that. So I just like to curl it before I start my makeup most of the time. Now I applied my foundation, Catrice foundation in the shade Espresso Beige. So I'm using a flat kabuki brush to blend that out. And now I'm going to go in with a beauty sponge that's damp, just to soak up excess product and also to remove any brush streaks and make it, you know, as smooth as possible. So I sprayed down this single eyeshadow. It's orange in color and you could tell I applied way too much. So but what I did was that I continued to blend and then it just became really nice. So yeah, and I'm going to be using a concealer from Revolution. It's a concealer and define. I think this shade is C13.5. It's very close to my own skin tone. So later on I used a lighter concealer because I felt like this didn't really give me what I wanted. So but this was the first concealer that I used, so I decided to keep it in this video just to let you know that look, plans change. Okay, I wasn't really feeling it after I finished blending it out. I wasn't really feeling the look. I wanted it a bit brighter, so I went in with a lighter concealer later on, as you would see. The corners of my mouth quite dark, there's shadows there, so I like to put concealer there as well, but just put like a little bit that's left on the sponge just to brighten that area up. I'm using the LA Girl Pro Conceal in the shade Cool Tan. It's lighter than me, definitely about 2 to 3 shades lighter than my skin tone. So I just apply that along the bridge of my nose and, you know, the usual areas where I normally like to conceal anyway. So I go ahead and blend that out very carefully, and I take it up always onto my eyelids just to help me to create a very smooth base and to cancel out any darkness around my eyelid before I start my eyeshadow application later on. Now I'm taking the Essence You Better Work Fixing Powder. This powder is really good for mattifying your face, so if you've got oily skin, this is really good for you. You can see me pressing it into my skin so it soaks up all the excess oil. My skin is actually more of like a normal to combination skin, but sometimes I do get oil over my face sometimes, depending on how stressed I am. So it works both ways anyway. If you've got combination skin to oily skin, that method will really work for you. Now I'm just baking with my Sacha Buttercup powder. Now I'm going to take a more detailed brush to set the bridge of my nose so I don't get powder everywhere. I'm going to brush up my brows, getting ready to draw. I'm using a PS pencil. I think this is from Primark. So I'm using that to just outline my brows, and then I'm going to fill them in after. I take the concealer, LA Girl Pro Concealer in the shade Cool Tan, in order to clean up underneath my brows. I like to make it nice and sharp underneath, so I'm using an angled brush to do this, and then I take a fluffier eyeshadow brush to blend that out, because you want to blend, you want to make sure that there is no line of demarcation. Now I use both concealers, the Makeup Revolution concealer and the LA Girl Pro concealer. I use both as my eye base for my makeup, for my eyeshadow application. So I gently pat that with the fluffy brush I used earlier. I'm not swiping, I'm actually patting it down just to prepare it for the eyeshadow application. So I'm taking that in magenta color. I really pack that on my brush. Now usually I set my eyelid before I go with eyeshadow, but the reason why I didn't set it today was because I wanted the color to be as vibrant as possible. So I wanted it to really stick onto the wet lid, and that's why I didn't set it. It looks a bit patchy here, but then I went in to really blend it in. So if you don't want it to be patchy, you would need to blend it, set it first with like setting powder, and your shadows will go on more. But because I wanted it to be a bit more pigmented, I didn't set it. So I took a lighter pink color to blow out the edges. So before you can see like a sharp curve, now I went in with the lighter pink shadow. I used that to blow out the edges of the color, so you can't really tell where one color starts and when the other ends. So I'm taking a brush like so, and I'm using that dark color right there. Sorry, the names I will link in the description below. I just didn't want it to take my time. So I put the darkest color on that palette. That's the Morphe Jaclyn Hill palette, volume 2. The darkest color on that palette, I use that for the inner corner. So you can see I'm forming a C shape just outside the corner of my eye. I don't want to drag it up at the beginning. So when you're working with darker colors, you want to make sure you have as much control as possible, because it can go really bad really quickly. So you want to maintain a C shape just at the corner of your eyes, and then work your way up. Now I'm taking a more flat brush like so. I'm going to use that to cut the crease. I take my time doing this. I try to look as much as possible into the mirror. I look up, look down, look sideways, look everywhere, just to make sure I'm looking great. Now I didn't take it really up to my crease, because I didn't really want a bold cut crease look. If I had taken it up to my crease, it would have looked a bit larger, and I wasn't really feeling that look. So instead I took it up 3/4 of the way to my crease, and yeah, that's where I cut it. So I didn't go all the way to the end, and I didn't go all the way up. I just stayed at a nice spot that I wanted it to be, because I didn't really want the full cut crease today. I'm using a pigment, shimmer pigment by Model's Own. I'm just patting that in onto the wet concealer. Okay, I didn't apply any adhesive. I'm using that brush to blend out the edges, so that I can cancel that line that separates the shadows. Now I'm taking a flat, straight brush. I'm going to use that to do my eyeliner. I'm using the LA Girl eyeliner, the black one. So I'm going to line my tight line on the top and the bottom. Am I the only one that drags the corner of my eye to draw my eyeliner? Because sometimes I just feel like I'm not drawing it right. So I have to kind of slightly drag it up and then create that line. So you see, this is how I do it in order to line my tight line on top. So I take a smaller brush and I use the shadows I used on top to blend the bottom as well. I take my compact powder, Bare Minerals, I think the shade Hazelnut. I use that to dust off all the setting powder and just give my face a more unified look. Using my Morphe 3503 palette, I take the darker cool tone browns. I use that for my contour because I couldn't be bothered to look for my contour powder that was going to be sufficient. I just had to use what I had to use because I was in a hurry. Actually, I didn't have time to start looking for things. So I'm using this fluffy taper brush. I'm using that to slim down my nose. Perform some surgery. Okay, I want it to be more precise. Okay, so I took a tinier brush so I can get in there. So this process is called reverse contouring. I'm just adding some setting powder underneath my cheekbones. I just want it to be a bit more pronounced, and that's why I do this. So a lot of people do the curved one because I've already got a round face. I don't really want to accentuate the roundness and that's why I go straight down, so it gives me a more narrow look. So I'm using this crushed eyeshadow, right? It is eyeshadow, but I actually like the color and I felt like I wanted to experiment. So I used it instead of my usual highlighter and I actually liked it. It looked quite nice. I put that on my brow bone as well just to make that area pop. I actually love the shades. Oh my goodness. It looked really nice. I mean, comment down below if you actually love this look, because I love it. I know it's a bit out there. Not many people are comfortable wearing this much makeup, but trust me, it's worth it. I use my Morphe concealer setting spray to set the entire face. Yeah. And I'm using my lip liner by Primark. I'm just gently lining my lips. I'm adding a pink color from Ciate London. It's a liquid lipstick. I'm gonna put that in on the entire lip, and I'm going to add a much lighter color to create an ombre effect. I'm putting the link of all these colors and you can see them down below. Yes, and that's all for today. I hope you enjoyed this look. I hope you loved it. If you did, give us a thumbs up, share this video with your friends and subscribe to this channel, and please turn on your notification bell so you know when time I upload any video. Thank you so much for watching. I love you. Bye.